All right, so let's see here. It is March 1st, 5:38 p.m. This is the Communications and Technology Committee for Waldoboro. I'm Ruben Mahar. We're here with Bob Butler. We have Richard Hofstas on the phone. We have our good buddy Max and Jim Letney. If you guys come up with a band name, a way you want to be introduced, I will. I love that stuff. It looks like we have a quorum tonight. Yep, no one's disagreeing. Excellent. Does anyone have any adjustments to the agenda? Not hearing any, we'll move right on. We have minutes. Max, was there time to get the minutes out? There wasn't?
There was no time. No.
All right, I think we're probably all okay approving that at the next meeting, especially since there's really no alternative. Great. Citizen comments. We have two citizens with us this evening. Do you have any comments?
Let's get the money.
Okay. Hard to get on board with. It's fair. I know they tend to come in on YouTube sometimes, so Max, if you see an opportunity and you hear something, let us know. All right. New business. There's nothing under new business. I don't have any new business. I guess that would have been an ad, so we can move on to all business unless either of you have something to add in.
Can
Richard?
I just
Yes, please.
Since this system is part of what we do,
Right.
I think it's a great system, especially sitting in this room. You can see people on the screen, talk to them, have a meaningful conversation.
Hey, can you talk closer to the mic?
The only, yeah, that's one thing. You got to remember to sit close to the mic. You got to remember not to pick up papers because the rustling of the papers drives people listening at home crazy. They can't hear anything.
Okay.
The other thing, though, is that when you listen to the recording, I thank you for posting that transfer station committee recording, Max. I was listening and trying to do the minutes this afternoon, and I don't know whether there's an issue that we can solve from this side or not, but the sound quality on YouTube leaves a bit to be desired. And I don't know whether it's the people who are actually talking and going back and forth between their microphones at home,
Okay.
or what.
Part of the problem actually with what happened with the transfer station committee was that the regular recording setup wasn't working and we weren't recording live on YouTube. So those recordings that you have, those mics you have, weren't properly recording. I was recording via Zoom. So it's whatever you were hearing on Zoom is what was posted on YouTube. The usual setup I have apparently wasn't picking up. So
That explains it then.
So it was more of a fluke on just that meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's all I had.
You've done a lot of great work developing, by the way. I'm a serial meeting attender on YouTube, and especially with the pandemic going on or storms or whatever.
Sure.
You guys have added huge value to the work you've done on that in the town. And
There's still more to be done.
I'm sure.
We got to do like a wireless mic or something. And
Yep.
I think actually it might be the mic you guys have there. It has like a terrible wire that I think prevented some people from listening to a planning board meeting in the past. So.
Yep, that's what is that, a mini XLR?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can get those cables on the website, I'm sure.
I'm just saying there's still more to do.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you for staying on top of it, I guess is my point.
But thank you for that comment, because I'm not complaining, Max.
I don't think you came across that way. I think
Okay, good. I'm
Yeah.
not complaining at all.
I was just adding to the
trying
compliment
to
train.
perfect the process a little if we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, on to old business. You sir asked a great question about Chapel Hill Road. We got an email from Shelley over at Charter last week. The electrical work is complete, and what we were waiting on last time was there's an electrical box that's going to energize Charter's expanded network. CMP's inspected that, and that equipment is now powered on. We're currently waiting to hear from Consolidated to complete moving their lines to make room for Charter. So at last check, we hadn't heard back from them. So as far as I know right now, there's nothing back. They need to move their stuff before Charter can go in and hang their equipment and get everyone online.
And Charter is essentially Spectrum.
Yeah, so Charter's the company and Spectrum's the product, if I understand
Okay.
correctly. If I have that wrong, I bet someone somewhere will email us pretty soon and let us know. But the cable company.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're considering hanging their cable and connecting homes all in one step, or if that's a multi-step process. So I'm not saying Charter's next step is the last step. I'm saying before they can do their next step, they need Consolidated to move their lines. I went ahead and emailed Julie a couple of contacts that I found for Consolidated, and that was right before I came in. There's no way she's had enough time to respond to that. So I'm assuming that will be a town manager thing unless she asks us to engage, which is sort of our normal operating mode at this point. Julie will reach out and talk to those folks, or Max will, and one of us will reach out if we're asked to do so. We're real careful with that. That's let us maintain good relationships and to sort of stay inside those lines.
So the people on Chapel Road, do they have a rough time frame? Because I know this is like a...
It's been, so in total waiting, those folks have all been waiting a long time. This version of this project is inside 2 years, I think we're looking at. And so I'm certainly not saying that they're not being patient. They've been beyond patient.
Oh, beyond, oh, yeah.
The answer is I don't know. Not hearing from Consolidated, Charter's really waiting on things that are out of their control. They had to wait for CMP to do their job, which CMP has done, I think, pretty well considering what they did. That's 20 plus polls at I don't know how many thousand per poll.
They were a surprise, actually.
Yeah.
They got done faster than we thought they would.
Yeah, those polls.
And I think we, best guess we got lucky. I know there was a lot of stuff that looked like it was kind of due. So however we got there, I'm just grateful to
There's
have
like
it.
20 plus new polls they had to put in.
Yeah,
Those are beefy telephone poles too. I drive that every week or so.
yeah.
So without knowing what Consolidated challenges are, there's no way I can give you an answer that's going to be anything close to accurate. I have some other questions that I'm going to pass on to Julie and Bob. I'm not doing those at that meeting because I have some ideas that I don't want to get hopes up with. And it's, I never want to seem like I can guarantee a technical change that these companies haven't even answered yet. But there are some questions I'm going to ask to be passed on when they reach out to Consolidated. I'll also say every company that builds networks and builds broadband is beyond maximum capacity right now. This money that's coming out is great. There's a lot of competition even just for time. I think that's the line we're running up against, is being able to get those people to come in and do all these moves that are happening in many places, or repair existing infrastructure and things like that. So I think that's why we don't know. When we do have information we can share publicly, we'll certainly do that. I say that to say there may be information we get from Consolidated that is protected. That's not uncommon for a municipality to get, network info or proprietary info. When we have a timeline we can reasonably share, we'll do that. And I think we'll continue with, it's about a monthly update, I think, or every 6 weeks or so we're seeing an email.
It's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll keep sharing that data. Any other questions on the cable companies or Consolidated?
Hey, you're man of meeting.
I don't have anything.
I'll call you back.
All right, next up is Connect Maine, which seems like a Max thing.
Let me go ahead and share the screen.
I love Max things. They're always so clever.
Sorry,
Put it on
guys.
silent?
Oh, it happens.
Did you put it on silent?
No one's gonna call.
Well, if they call back, just tell them they're on the committee. We'll bring them in.
It's my sister. She wants to know when's the fiber coming.
Oh, even better. It's an interested party.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll have the answer today. So let me minimize that. So last Thursday, Connect Maine had one of their monthly meetings, which was very close to tabling the grants for another month, just because some people felt that a lot of municipalities weren't going to be ready. But Connect Maine felt very strong that there was going to be a lot of towns who were already ready, that there were a lot of people waiting for this to happen, and we're one of them, so I'm not going to hide that fact. We've been ready, and Connect Maine felt they should do half the money now. So 7.5 million will go into this first round. and 7.5 will go into the next round for the towns who need to wait until maybe June or July, when all these special town meetings are going to happen and they have to approve budgets to allocate some funds to these matches. So fortunately, we do have a grant being announced. Hooray. This includes, I'm sorry, okay. So, and this includes the two-tier system that I've talked about in the past, where half the funds will go to, well, some of the funds will go towards these infrastructure expansions. This is what we're going to aim for with Store Mountain and Flanders Corner. And then the other will be these community-driven, town-wide fiber systems like what you're going to see down in Bremen. So, and I'm sorry if people can't read the text from there.
We can read it okay.
All right. So the deadline, I believe they have for
April 12th.
April 12th. Yep, right down here. And one requirement is to have someone attend the March 10th workshop that's going to be hosted by Connect Maine. I signed up the moment they said that, and they sent the links to towns. So I'm already set on that. And it's just to go through. It's just to go through this document that I've already am sharing with everyone, and it's available on the Connect Maine website. It's very simple with what's being asked. There's the obvious information about the town, who we're going to partner with.
Who's our fiscal agent going to be?
Well, that depends. It can be us. It can be LCI. It's just going to be who's going to get the funds, pretty much. So if we wanted to do, for example, we wanted to have Charter doing this program as well, the town would be the fiscal agent, or we'd hire a third-party person who would handle the money, and whenever Charter or LCI does part of their project and asks for reimbursement, then we would ask the fiscal agent to then give Charter or LCI the check. But I think what we're doing is mostly just going to be LCI, so if we want, we can just have LCI as the fiscal agent in this case.
When we did Old Augusta Road, we were actually approving the invoices as a town. We had to sign off. I don't know whether that arrangement will
That's certainly an option.
be in place.
I think that's smart, quite honestly.
Keep things.
Yeah,
Ruben,
absolutely.
Well, I think you guys are, I guess I was asking, was there an advantage to that? I certainly, if I were running a project, if I were having fiber built on a road I own, I would want that level of control. And that's got nothing to do with trust.
Right.
Except, in my daily life at work, doesn't matter how much I like a vendor, I let them all know I'll never actually trust them. It's just as good business.
Good business.
Well, and it lets you see what kind of equipment they're installing too.
Right,
You know?
right.
Just out of curiosity, who was the fiscal agent when Manktown Road had its expansion?
I don't know.
Okay, just curious on that one.
That's a good question.
But I have also reached out to LCI and said we're serious, we're ready, we have our match and everything. I think we do. So let's talk with them, and I'm still waiting on them. I sent them an email, I think Thursday, and I haven't heard back from them just yet. But
Max, just for clarification, you are asking for them for their type of monetary commitment as well, or just commitment
Yes.
as far as?
I told, because the question they've asked me, I think back in January is this something Waldeboro's actually doing? And I said, yes. Waldeboro's in this time. You know, we are still expecting them to provide something, but we can certainly, and this is why I wanted to talk to them. I want to get all the pieces together for this.
Right.
Because I think we all have, it's all out there, and we just need to make sure it's enough this time. And I've just been waiting. The reason I couldn't talk to them in January was because they were finishing up the CARES Act funding, but now we're into the Connect Maine portion of it. So, and they said this is when they would be available to start doing all this.
Are you comfortable telling us who you were talking to at LCI?
Alan Hinsey and Randall Manning.
Okay.
But this was through emails.
Okay.
I like to have a written trail, just to
Absolutely.
show that I'm not crazy in what I'm talking about.
Would it be helpful if I sent a note just asking if they've heard from you, or? I'm also happy to stay out, but if I can be useful, I'm happy to do that.
If you want to just send out an email and just say, hey, it's Ruben, we're hoping that we can do something with the the Connect Maine round happening right now, we'd love to get LCI fiber up there, then that would help.
Okay.
It would help to mention that you're chairman of the CTC and that this committee is involved.
Yep.
That's an indication of community support.
Right.
Absolutely.
Help for the grant.
So I'll just quickly go through the grant, just talking about the scoring rubric that they always have. For unserved areas, this is something that Letney's over there should know about. This is the beginning of January, I think. We were just having people do some basic speed tests to say this area is not that well served. We need to get some fiber up there, and I want to thank you two for getting everyone up there to redo the tests, just because I honestly thought it was just get 1 or 2 examples up there and then just have the residents say that it's unserved, but apparently that wasn't the case. Fortunately, I do have the testimony. I'll submit that when we're doing the application, and the speed test should be significant because I think it went from 2 people up there to like all 6 people.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Cost benefits.
Max, will we be able to apply on the second round if we don't get it on the first?
Yes. They don't want to punish us too harshly. The only reason it might be difficult is because right now we're that crowd that's already ready. So we're not competing with every single town in Maine. We're only competing with the few dozen that have already been prepared.
Right.
So I'll go through the point system and just go through what's needed. So the first 50 points in this, it's all going to be about cost benefits. So you'll see down on the bottom there, how many points are based on how much of the grant fund is going to go to each customer. I believe, and I'm just going to go with the combined Flanders Corner Store Mountain figure of 55,000, because that's what LCI has given us. I believe, bless you. Sorry. So for a 50-point grant, 2,000, that would be us asking for maybe, I think, 22,000 at most, I believe. Because there's 7 up at Store Mountain, or it's 6, because the 7th is on Jackson Road, correct? No?
Rick will get it, so.
Just the individual residential households.
On Store Mountain.
Yes. Okay, that is 6.
But he's gonna have a box.
It's actually 7.
7?
Yeah.
On actual Store Mountain.
On actual
actual
Store
Store
Mountain Road.
So that's 7, and then I believe it's 4 additional on Flanders Corner. So that makes it 11. So for full 50 points, that's 22,000 we're asking for.
Max, sorry, does it make a difference that they're not contiguous?
No, because it's all the same grant.
The
'Cause it's all-
application talked about contiguity, though, and maybe I misunderstood it. It talked about areas being covered, and if you read, I say you don't have to read between the lines. It does talk about if you're doing separate areas that aren't contiguous, you need to submit separate grants or separate applications.
I have to talk to them a bit more about that, because I recall in an earlier I remember in a conversation before this grant at least dropped, that it would all just be combined into one, because when I was talking about getting multiple partners involved, like Charter and LCI, they said you could do that under one grant. So, but I wouldn't question that type of language might be in there, but I need to get clarification from that then.
Okay.
But I want to just go through this grant. So that's the maximum for points, getting less than $2,000 for each customer. I still think we could probably be fine with going above the 2,000 per customer. We do need to see how much LCI would contribute to this type of program, though, to help determine this. Project focus. This is for the percentage of customers that will be served as a factor. So how many people are going to be joining on if we have the fiber laid out in these areas? It's going to be everyone. There's really no competition in these two areas we're expanding on, so that's going to be the full 5 points we're going to get right there. Just briefly describe the community engagement in the planning process. Wave hi to our evidence, everyone. Just wave to the camera there. Just us being here in our CTC, the minutes we're going to have to reflect it. I think the ongoing vocal support we've been getting from people like the Letneys here and some residents from not Storm Mountain, Flanders Corner, who were here last time. I think it all really helps show that the community support in this. Project scope is going to be 25 points. So we're at 80 points now with an additional 10 points available.
Sorry, Max, if you read the second paragraph under the section you're currently in.
Must be
read that
continuous
first.
for each application. Please submit separate application for non-continuous. Requires billing data at the extent. Again, I have to talk to them about this
Okay,
because,
just wanted to make sure we're covered, that's all.
but I think this is actually still fine because we're not going from North Waldoboro to South Waldoboro.
Right.
This is all in that North Waldoboro area using the same LCI fiber
Yep.
line. So I believe we're still fine.
build a line that would pass each of these homes in a single stretch.
Continue. Hold on. Please submit separate.
There's actually already a line in front of our road.
Right, I'm just, when they go up that road, I'm trying to visualize how those two roads connect.
And you can also define contiguous as being part of the same line,
Right.
which they
And I
will
think-
be once it's.
Yes.
And that's what I believe it's about.
I think they would, yeah, I mean, realistically, I think they'd have to be.
They'll branch off of the same main line, most likely.
Right.
Right.
They don't define it that way here, but that's what.
Right, and I think there is just some confusion in that language,
Yeah.
but
Well,
from
certainly
my
wouldn't
talks,
hurt to get clarification.
I will ask for clarification, but as I say, just speaking with Peggy Schaefer and Brooke Johnson leading into this, it did seem to be in that this idea that it can be multiple roads, it just needs to, in this case, just connect in a way, and it's all going to be that one North Waldoboro area, that same LCI fiber line. So I think we're still in a very good spot.
Logically, that makes sense, and I
It
really
does
like
make
that you're.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Well,
agree.
it makes sense to us right now, but maybe they are thinking differently up.
I was almost certain that was all that mattered.
But I will get that for clarification. So, where was I? 25 points. So, this is just talking about what type of service is going to be provided now. So we can get up to so of the 25 points, up to 15 is going to be based on what type of service is provided. For upload speeds, that's what I actually found interesting. This isn't download speed based, this is upload speed based. So the closer we get to 100 megabytes per second, the better it's going to score for us. This actually brings me into something I was going to bring up with Flanders Corner, because we got two competitive bids, I'd say, for finishing Flanders. There was Charter Spectrum, and then there was LCI Fiber. Fortunately, there's no one from Flanders Corner here tonight to say, but I guess we did need to come to a decision of who should be for that connection, and I did want to speak more with Flanders Corner residents to get their opinion, but I think because of what we're seeing up there for who can provide better upload speeds, I think LCI Fiber is kind of...
So the question's going to be this: if you're looking at, I'm putting any retail list, what you can buy right now, to the side for a minute. Current state of the tech and the equipment on the poles, LCI can deliver faster upload. Without modification, I think they can do up to 1 gig.
Okay.
They might be able to do up to 10, but I know for certain they can do up to 1 gig up. On DOCSIS 3.1, the current version that's active everywhere, the best you can do is 40 megabit up. Now, take that data, put it to the side, and now we look at retail pricing. On Charter, I can buy 940 by 40. That tests it up to 1.2 gig down by about 50 megabit up on the best day. The most I can buy from LCI right now is 100 by 20. That's what they sell. If you ask about any other speed, there is nothing listed, and it's a one-off. So how is that scored? Is it potential in the medium as it's deployed?
Or what
is
can
it
you buy tomorrow?
what they'll sell you right now when you go onto the website?
So that's another question I suppose I'll be asking Connect Maine then, and something that will be brought up in the conversation with LCI, since you're right, that's a pretty significant change. If
There are costs to the back end too, it's, if I've gone off before about, hey, LCI, you could offer a gig both ways. Well, eventually they have a few hundred residents. If they had everyone at a gig that actually tried to use that, they'd have to supply that at the back end. And if you think internet's expensive at your house, try reselling access to it. So, there's some realistic stuff they do there. One of the things I love about LCI is they're very careful. They're a small sort of conservative group.
Right.
They make good decisions. They're not going to go broke because of the stuff they're processing. So I say that so they don't think I'm beating on them. Yes, sir.
Doesn't the fact that one of the people who quoted on Flanders was far more expensive than the other one, doesn't that play into it?
there are always different factors for all these types of projects. Again, I kind of wish there was someone from Flanders here tonight, but they could look at the price and say one's cheaper than. 1 second.
Nashu.
Something was caught there. It could be an upfront cost saying this is more expensive upfront. We want to do the cheaper upfront cost. On the other hand, they may look at what the monthly payments are after that installation. Say, all right, well, this is a bit more expensive paying right now, but it's cheaper a bit later on. And then there's also the download upload speeds that I was just talking to, which I was just referring to. All that does play into a sort of combined thing. And there could be other factors that I'm just not talking about tonight.
Do you have to present both cases as part of the application? Or
No.
just focus on the one you're working with?
You mean the two different?
For Flanders Corner, because we didn't have any.
No, we can just pick one.
Oh, okay, so it's up to us to pick it. Yeah.
I mean, if it goes back to the fiscal agent thing. If we decide we want LCI Fiber to be the fiscal agent in this,
Right.
then it pretty much is decided LCI Fiber is going to do both roads.
Mm-hmm.
If the town's going to be it, then we can at least pick one or the other. But again, that's a bit more talk up with the residents up at Flanders Corner. Are they more comfortable? What are they comfortable with for a provider, and with all these factors in mind? But so just going back to, this is still the project scope. So 15 of the 25 points have already been talked about. The next 5 points would be the number of customers that would be contributing. We're not going to get anything from this. So that's only 5 points we're not going to get of the 25. But then here comes a little saving grace here, and it's the number of subscribers per mile. Less than 10 subscribers per mile, and we get 10 bonus points. So that's actually going to be, that's really good in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
I think total that's at being generous, I think we only have 2 miles when you combine the 2 roads, and that's, as I said earlier, about 11 residents. So
Does this document cover, does this have to be residential grade service, or is it any speed you can pay for? And what I'm getting at is, let's say I decided to start a new business today that was near fiber, and I called LCI for that business. As a business, I'm pretty sure if I say, Alan, how much money for 100 meg synchronous, he will give me a price.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get a product with a price on it, I can then be truthful and say, I have this much upload. So if LCI can give us an actual price on a commercial product with 100 meg upload, does that qualify under this document? Because we might have someone running a business from their home. Waldeboro is interesting. There's a lot of high-tech. I keep meeting people that work for Cisco and stuff around here, which blows my mind. And some of them have satellite somehow, and they still get it done. So I don't think that would be dishonest. I also don't want to speak for LCI or for Charter for that matter. Charter I only know because I've spent a bunch of time obsessing over their different products.
Well, we already have one example. It's not a business, but the guy works from home or wants to work from home.
Yep.
On Store Mountain.
Sure.
I have my own business.
Okay, so
I currently have my own business.
You got 3, actually,
those are 3 on-the-ground examples that all you need.
yeah, you got Chris Morris, you got Jimmy, and you got John Morris.
John Morris, yeah, he works at home too.
Yeah, we need to get you guys some more connectivity so you can do your thing.
Yeah.
I think what this was just me listening into their meetings. The focus seemed to be more about the future and the potential. So I don't think this is right now, for a good chunk of this isn't right now retail. I think this is what they can do.
Okay, so the potential, you would want to talk to Randall
Programs that
specifically.
you could get.
The thing I don't know is,
LCI,
I know
or basic, and
the
then
fiber,
there's
the raw fiber, will do up to 10 gigs both ways on its own, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know if the equipment and the poles will handle that or not, because that would be a lot of throughput to just have up there. But in that case, the answer is either a gig or 10 gigs, and we want to talk to him and find out.
Okay.
Just for clarification, didn't LCI offer, I thought I remember reading in one of these emails, 2 different programs for as far as
So there were
residential?
There were a total of 4, 2 are historical and 2 are current. So when it first started up, keep me honest here.
Yep.
I believe there used to be a 50 by 50 and 100 by 100.
Yeah, I think what they used, I don't think it was 50 by 50. I think it was just you picked one of their models that was the same download, same upload. Because I remember when I hooked up, I got 30 by 30.
Yeah.
It was a symmetrical offer, though.
It was a symmetrical offer, yeah.
Bifurcated the way it is now.
And then they did the 50 down, 10 up.
And their current version looks at, what can you buy? Oh, I'm assuming some things, but it looks like they looked at the most common things you can get from Charter, because most people are going to be 100 or 200 by 10 or 400 by 20. And then if you want to pay a bunch more, you can in theory get that higher speed.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. And I think if you signed up for that plan and don't change anything, you still stay with it. That goes back to, they iterate, they're creative, they're trying to sell where the demand is.
And it's bad business to have empty airplane seats.
Yep.
By the way, just because my phone was off to the side, I didn't see John Lawrence was in the audience tonight. Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Sorry that I'm getting late to these responses. John pointed out it's made contiguous by the existing LCI fiber already in place. The intent is 2 pockets with existing infrastructure to the point of pressure, the point of presences.
So it's what we've said.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
That's good confirmation.
Again, sorry, John, for not seeing. I had my phone off to the laptop the whole time, just because it's been binging like crazy, and I don't want that picked up on the mic too much. So now, just going on with the grant. The next was the points relating to the percentage of the grant cost that we get. So how much of this grant, the percentage this grant's going to pay is going to depend on 5 points. Again, 5 points, it's not make or break, but it is still important to keep in mind. I've always envisioned going for at least a 50% grant, but that would get us 1 to 2 points. We go a little bit lower, we get 3 to 4. Again, I need to talk with LCI just to see what they're going to contribute to this project. I would hope. I think last time they said they would do maybe, I think it was like 10,000 for the project, but that might have changed. And
That rings a bell with me, but maybe that will, maybe that has changed.
right. So definitely need.
Well, and I think part of the rationale is that if we are lucky enough to get the grant and go forward with LCI, none of us are going anywhere.
Right.
I mean, they've got it.
Yeah.
From here on out. I mean, it's money in the bank.
Next 50 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the last one, this is 15 points of the grant. Value of the project. So first 10, price per customer per month. So we would need LCI to be very clear on what the prices up at Store Mountain and Flanders are going to be. This is going to be based on my own bill, but I imagine they're going to be in the $65 to $100 range. I feel. I don't know what their latest. Actually, Ruben has his computer. He's probably going to be looking up what LCI is offering right now.
Wasn't it 49?
Was it 40? Was it $50?
Yeah.
I think it was 49 and 69.
Oh, there we go. We can get the full 10.
Yeah. I just saw it in my notes.
Yeah, that's it. When you look at current offers, they're the least expensive plan. If you're just worried about upload, Which, you know, a lot of people are. That includes me. When I've upgraded my speed, it was never about getting more stuff in. So it's cool to have a, you know, a big number. You know, so yeah, they're 50 by 10. Their website shows $49.95, and their 100 by 20 shows $69.95.
Right, that's,
All right, and for this, it's just the lowest offer, so the lowest they're offering is $50. That's 10 points. So we would need LCI to just confirm that figure.
That's just their number. It doesn't say anything here about, people get confused sometimes on other carriers. They'll have a promo, look crazy low, but then there's an asterisk and super tiny text. This doesn't appear to be that. I know we can trust LCI to confirm that.
well, the other thing too is, I mean, some people may want to, you know, there was talk about obviously doing an installment type arrangement.
Yep.
You know, and then some people might just say, well, okay, if it's $2,500, I'll pay it up front. But at least have that option so that, you know, to Mac's point, that $100 per month may be in play for, or close to it, for 3 years or whatever.
That doesn't matter. For the grant, we want the lowest number, which is, if their advertised is under 50, it's perfect.
Yeah, oh yeah, for this.
Yeah. So then the last 5 points are broken into 2 bits that are just hidden a bit here. The
Okay.
2 points right here, we just need to show evidence that expanding the broadband does help people who are remote workers, small businesses, telehealth, students, which both of these areas are gonna have plenty of, I'd say.
Yeah,
So that's the other 2 points. And then the last 3 are down here. Proposed project that results in affordability offerings help address affordability barriers to the adoption, use of internet services and contributes project value. This was a bit wordy. I'm not too sure what, I almost wonder if this is supposed to be about just compared to what is available now for wireless and satellite, but I'll highlight that there.
We could work up a chart pretty easily that the data's all available. Even if you went with the most expensive wireline connections, anything over cellular or satellite is going to cost a significant amount more.
160.
I think. There you go.
Sorry?
160
Yeah,
a
for
month
satellite.
for unlimited satellite.
There you go.
yeah, Chris is doing the same thing. I think we're at like 130.
Wow. And that's just for internet, it's not even for telephone,
Nope,
right?
Correct.
nothing else.
Wow.
So I believe that's, yeah, and that's the end of the page 10. So that's the full application right there. I think the exclusion of just a few points, we're very favorable in some of these areas. It's all going to come down to what LCI has to say, though, on what they're going to contribute and what the potential is going to be for these offerings. I wish I had time today to work on the actual grant so I could have some narrative to share with everyone, but for tonight, I don't really have too much.
What you've done has been really, really useful.
Oh, God, yeah.
I feel like my brain's wrapped around something new. That's a big deal.
The deadline is April 12th, right?
Correct.
So we could have another meeting between now and then on April, sorry to say this, April whatever, 1st.
Oh, jeez.
And just go over it with you before you submit it? Or
Yeah.
would you like to get it done?
No, I would prefer to have a meeting before we do have it submitted, just so everyone is comfortable with the language and everyone's aware of it, and so we can have the residents of Store Mountain and Flanders Corner looking at it and saying, yes, this is good. And another note, John Lawrence made a comment. LCI wants this extension to the South Flanders Corner so they can create a redundant loop for the North Waldoboro fiber system. The south connection to their existing system is at Nobleboro Road.
Okay.
Hey, if everybody wins, that's even better.
Right.
Now, do you need a month to do this, or would you want to have an off-cycle meeting or a workshop or something? What can we do to help?
I think more than anything, I just need LCI to respond and say first that they are willing to help in this project. Because if they say, no, we don't want to do this,
kind of dead in the water.
Right.
yeah, we're kind of stuck here. And if they say we're not going to provide, even if they tell me we're not going to provide financial contribution, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to write the grant, we're not going to give too much information, I can still work with that at least. I can still put something out. I don't think I need to wait an entire month.
Okay.
I think,
Give yourself enough rope.
right.
Yeah. Well, now, did you also mention there's a workshop coming up, or you're going to be attending?
Yep, on March 10th, Connect Maine Authority is going to hold a workshop to go over this grant. So some of the questions that we do have for Connect Maine is probably going to be discussed during that
Yeah.
meeting. I've already signed up for that.
That's compulsory, right? You have to do that.
Yes,
It's a grant.
yes.
Okay.
If a town wants to submit, they have to attend, so I'm going to get that little technicality out of the way.
So with that, between now and the 10th, hopefully you can tackle LCI and kind of hold their feet to the fire. Maybe, to Bob's point, Ruben, drop a dime on them and just say, hey,
I like to say hi occasionally anyway, they're good folks over there.
and,
They are.
and just, being the chief cook and bottle washer doesn't hurt. Well, just so they know that we got something going here. We want people to realize that we're serious.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, Richard's still there. Trying to think. I don't have let me pull up a calendar.
Why is John participating via Zoom?
It's just like, wait, why is John participating?
Why is he not participating? John
Dude,
Lawrence.
chat's pretty great, man.
People can do YouTube, people can do Zoom. Either option's fine.
It would just be nice to see him again then,
That's true. We haven't seen John in a while. Hi, John.
Let me quickly check my calendar, see what's.
Well, let me ask you this, Max. Last year, I don't know, with the COVID, was it the year before last,
2019, yeah.
when you were developing the application?
Yeah.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Can you do some cutting and splicing that, just to save you some time? Or is it, from the narrative standpoint?
For legal reasons, I will say that I do not, that I am strongly against plagiarism and cutting and pasting previous applications. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, that's kind of why I just need to hear from LCI, just to see what can be
Right.
identical in the two things.
Yep, for clarification.
Right. You're right. It's not going to take too much time.
I'm
That's
not
why.
saying it's not going to take time. I'm just saying, I don't want you to reinvent the
No,
wheel where you have put quite a bit of time into it.
Looking at everything that's required, I can always churn out a good narrative when I have at least 2 hours and a couple cups of tea. So I could probably get this done. Maybe we could hold a meeting on the 15th if we want, and I think I should have something ready.
Okay.
That way we've also had the workshop with Connect Maine. I would hope LCI has reached out at that point. I would have had enough time to put a narrative together. So I can work with that. That or the 22nd. Either option's fine.
All right, so,
15th or 22nd?
15th or 22nd, whichever one the committee would like to do.
I say we go to the 15th, and if there's a problem, we can always change the date.
I'll put it on the 15th, but that gives you enough time now.
Is that something we need to vote on, or is that just a thing we can say we're doing?
You can vote on it if you'd like. Keep in mind, it'll be the day after daylight savings, so I'll lose only 1 hour of work.
yeah.
Anyone want to make a motion to schedule a meeting for the 15th? At what time?
5:30,
30.
keep it consistent.
I can move that if I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I would say you are.
Okay.
Richard, do you have any thoughts?
No, I just wanted to, one question I wanted to ask. With LCI, they know about this? So are we just waiting to hear from them, or do they need to be approached?
I sent out an email on Thursday. I didn't call because I figured they might have already been swamped with a few other inquiries. And again, I like to always have a written track record that I have reached out to them. Wednesday, I will probably be calling them if I haven't heard from them at that point, this Wednesday. But I also did tell them and did have a discussion with them back in January about this.
Yeah.
And both LCI and I were just waiting on Connect Maine to announce it, because we thought it was going to be announced back in January. You know, it didn't happen in January. So, but they are aware.
So the motion was for Richard, did you second that motion? Did you second that motion, Richard?
Yes, I will.
Great.
Okay.
The hearing isn't that great, but,
Thank you, Richard.
okay.
So the motion from Bob and Richard to hold a meeting on March 15th at 5:30.
Yep.
Can I get a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
We even got the audience to
We
vote
got bonus
yes.
points. Hey, I listened to Jim and Jim, so.
All right. So I'll make sure to have that scheduled on the calendar and make sure that there's no conflicts with other meeting room items, but it's Monday, so there's really never anything. But yeah, are there any other questions regarding the Connect Maine grant?
I don't have any. You did a fantastic job explaining that. I've got some homework. I'll reach out to Randall and just, send a hey buddy email. You have some questions?
Richard, do you have any questions?
If you need help, you reach out. I assume that Max, et cetera, you'll be the one who puts this together, is that correct?
Yep, I can put it together.
Okay. And if you need help with it, you'll let some of us know. If there's anything you need with it. But it sounds like it's probably totally in your hands.
I will do my best.
Okay.
How about John? Is he on your?
He's on YouTube, but I haven't seen anything since he mentioned the LCI fiber system extension, so.
Okay.
But do you guys have any questions?
No. Get her done.
Yeah.
Bob, rounding it out, do you have anything?
I'm good.
All right.
Is there
All
a
right.
motion to
Great.
adjourn?
Well, are there any other CTC comments? I feel like we've had plenty to say, but in that case, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Looking for a second.
Second.
All right. That's our meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your time. John, if you're still there, thanks for dialing in. We miss you.